All right. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome. Happy Thursday. Grogard, hello. Mohit, hey. Mohit, I'm going to be talking to you tomorrow. I will share more about that in a little bit, but I have an exciting announcement about a new stream to share in a little bit. But hey to both of you. And OMG Ganesh or OM Ganesh, I'm not sure. I apologize if I mispronounced, but thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. I'm pretty excited about what we're going to be working on today. I'm actually planning to, we're going to continue with the Brew Buddy project, but I got my boards in for Mosh Park. So we're actually going to do some soldering. I had a very abbreviated stream on Monday, or on Tuesday, excuse me, because I had some issues with that I think I've mostly resolved. Apologize if there's still a few frame drops here and there, but I think it is, it's in good shape. Grogard, PCB assembly is awesome. I agree. So this will be fun. Grogard, you were with me that Saturday a couple of weeks ago when I put together the DC Darknet badge. So we're going to do a little bit more of the same. I got my nice little blue soldering mat out, and I'm all ready to go. But we're going to continue with that today, and then get back to doing a little bit of firmware. Share some updates on that if you didn't get a chance to watch the recording that I ended up posting on Tuesday. But let's go ahead and do this. I'm actually going to move my mic over and slide myself over here a little bit, so you may not see me as much in the frame. But I'm actually going to get to the fun now. Move the mic a little bit more, and I will keep track on the chat. I can see the chat from here. But this is the fun part. So this is one of my most favorite sites in the world, is actually seeing this wonderful little package from Mosh Park show up with these perfect purple PCBs. It's always a good feeling when you get these. I got my order of 3 here. I'll slide that package over there, and here they are. This with a little bit of overhead light shining off of it. But these are the Brew Buddy boards that we designed in Eagle a couple of weeks ago. They're looking pretty good. We got some work ahead of us. Look at all of those surface mount headers that I am going to solder right here live. That should be kind of fun. So we're going to do that. We only need one of these for now, but it's in the world of electronics, and maybe this is in many things, it's good to have your components come in 3s, right? Because you're probably going to mess one of them up. Hopefully I will not do that today. We're going to solder this thing together, and I have all the components that I need. I think I have. Unpack a couple of these. Got some things from DigiKey. Got some things from SparkFun, but I have my 2 SMD headers right there, ready to go. I'm going to put those off here. I have a 8-pin header for the TFT, and I need a 6-pin for the, what was that? Oh, those are different. I don't need those. 6-pin for the thermocouple, so I'm going to pull that in as well. And then I have my 1 mega ohm resistor for the piezo that I'm going to be soldering right in there. In fact, that may be what I do first, so that nothing else gets in the way. And I'm gonna pull the camera down a little bit closer. And here, you know what? Too, I'm gonna see if I can go even closer than that without impairing myself. And then I'm gonna kill the lights here, so you're not getting a lot of reflection from the top. That'll do. Let's see if I can turn on the light on the webcam, on the camera a little bit. Apologies for the, oh no. No. All right, you know what? I'm not gonna mess with it. I did just realize that I forgot a couple of supplies that I needed. So there's not a ton of light for me here, but hopefully you all can see it. So here's my wonderful strip of, let me see on here. I decided to go with 0805. So these are 0805 resistors. Come on, focus. Focus, focus. There we go. So these are 0805 resistors. I did not torture myself. I can handle that, possibly. Oh, you know what? I knew I forgot something. Tweezers. See, I think I have everything here on my desk here, and I don't. There's always something. This is like doing a home improvement project. There is no home improvement project that requires less than 2 or 3 visits to Home Depot or Lowe's or one of those hardware kind of stores. Gotta have my tweezers. Make this whole process a whole lot easier. All right. So when you get resistors in these strips like this, or these reels, half the trick is just getting the thing out without it falling over, without it disappearing on you. Come on. All right, it's out. It's on the board. I don't know if you can see it. But it is on the board, and I'm going to turn the board so that I can actually see. And hopefully this won't make it too bright, but I do actually need some light here from my camera. Oh no, that's terrible for y'all. All right, I can live without the light so that you can see better. So usually what I do with surface mount stuff like this is I'm gonna tack it down on one side. So I'm gonna solder one of the pads. Just like that. And then grab my tweezers. Are these bent? Ah. I have a bent pair of tweezers here. I've lost so many 0402 and smaller ones, they just fly away. Grover, yes. Absolutely. I used to have my soldering station set up in the garage here behind me, and I've found so many little tiny grains of sand that have shown up all over the place. All right. I don't love the straight ones, but we'll work with them. All right. So we got it tacked down on one side. That may not focus in. Now let's do the other side. Yay! All right. That was the trickiest part of the whole thing. Dakami, hey, welcome. Welcome. I'm excited to see it as well. I'm excited to get it together, but thanks for joining today. Looks like I'm still getting a few drop frames here and there, so I apologize for that. But it seems to be better overall than it was on Tuesday, so we'll take that away and take that as a win. Hopefully things will stabilize. Okay. So the next step here is to do these. I got my resistor done. The next step is to do the Smd headers for the Argon. Now in the footprint there actually was a space, assuming that you got headers that had little holes in them. Hey Babin, thank you. Yeah, better overall. Yes, you were there on the much abbreviated stream on Tuesday, but thank you for that. I'm glad it's better. I have some suspicions. I fixed a few things on my end, but I have some suspicions about my internet service provider and their attitude towards Twitch streaming. We'll see. So there are holes in here, but the headers that I got from DigiKey, the cheapos, do not have those positioning holes. So what I'm going to do to tack these down is I'm going to make my life a little bit easier, and I'm actually going to go ahead and slot this in to my Argon so that I can at least make sure that when I tack, I'm going to tack down the corners. So I'm going to tack down this corner over here, and then I'm going to go in and tack down the other corner. And then we'll hope for the best here. These pads are the pads are wide, which is good. So I'm going to start like I did with the resistor. And I'm going to hit this pad here with a little bit of solder. And I'm going to hit this pad over here. Yeah, you know what? I'll just do all four corners. And just heat them up one at a time. Once I get those four in, the rest will be easy. Famous last words. But at least I can get things lined up in a way that I'm comfortable, and then I will remove. Oh yeah, I got more clearance over here. I don't have a ton of clearance though. It's going to be a touch tricky. All right. So I'm going to do my best here on this side, just on the one pad, getting it in a place where I feel like it's kind of centered over. Turn my light on for just a second, y'all. Bear with me. I need to see it for a second. Good news is if I get this right, everything will go much faster after this point. Okay. I went ahead and took the plunge. So now I got that side down. I'm going to do this side. Just enough to heat it up. I'm going to come back in and retouch it. 3 out of 4. I think I just redid that one. I can't remember which one I did. I think that actually looks pretty good. Not focusing. Those two sides look good. As do these two. I think I have every pin. Y'all see that? Every pin soldered and accessible here. So that's good. So I'm going to remove the Argon now because it is... Ah! Son of a bitch. Apologies. That was... See, look at that fail right there. I just pulled these. I need to do more than 4 sides. And this, dear friends of the stream, is why you get more than one board from Mosh Park. Oh, those just came right out. Thanks, Grogard. It did look good for a second. I know. Oh, .commie, thanks for watching the last video. I was not in a good place mentally after that stream failed on me. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna act like I'm streaming. I'm gonna record and we'll just go from there. It was different. It's more fun to do this live and chat with y'all. Hey, Cooper Clay. How's it going, Clay? Good to hear from you. I'm doing your least favorite task. You don't like this? You don't like soldering and assembly? Man, I love this stuff. I don't think you're crazy. Oh no. I don't think you're crazy at all, but I love doing this. This is a lot of fun. Babbitt, never mess with SMD headers like that, so, well, I'll learn from your mistake because I would 100% would do that. Yeah, I appreciate that. This is 90% of why I do this and why I'm here, so that you all can learn from my mistake. Apologies, I'm jumping around. Okay, so we're starting over. Thankfully, we didn't get very far, but I still think it's wise to do the resistor first, since it's tiny and in a weird spot between components. So I'm going to come back in and do this one again. Okay. Getting my tiny little resistor. I don't even know if, like, how much can this focus? Can I get the camera to focus on this? It's not. It's so small. It's so cute. I'm gonna move it. This is all because I said easy. I would have done this. Yeah, you're right, .commie, absolutely. Grogard said, sometimes I wish my boards had less components. I would love to be able to finish in a few minutes. But then they wouldn't do as much cool stuff. You're right. You're right. The number of components is a function of the awesome things that they do, for sure. Yeah, I mean, thankfully this board, this board is relatively simple, right? There's not a ton of components. Not nearly as much as... I have one hanging up on the wall behind me. This is the board that I did last year for Particles Developer Conference. And on the front it looks like, oh, that's cool. There's just some buttons and a few things here and there, but there was a ton of soldering work on the back here on these. And then on the front here, these are actually, there's a tiny, tiny little Silicon Labs temperature and humidity sensor on there that I hand soldered a few of these. That was fun. That was microscope work right there. Grogard said I need some more smaller, more simpler board projects. I understand that feeling, for sure. Yeah. Alright, sorry, still checking the stream logs. I'm all like gun shy now after experiencing that mess the other day. Did I get both sides on this one? Looks like I did. Go back off. Okay. So attempt number 2. Attempt number 2 with my headers. Clay, there you go. Clay says you're gonna send Grogard your boards to solder. There you go. All right, so I got my 32. That's such a great idea. All right, once I get them in place, I'm gonna keep the argon in place. I mean, I'm not heating it up enough that I'm concerned about ruining it. So I can go ahead and do that. Just get it down a little bit more solidly before I take the board off. All right. So let me do the corners again. And Clay, I know you commented on the video that you liked the change up into the chiptune soundtrack, so I think I'm going to stick with it. I enjoy it too. I like it a lot. All right. Let me see if I can go closer. Zoom in. All right, let's have some fun with attempt number 2. I'm going to give myself some light again. See if I can get this lined up. So much fun. So I don't consider I got this. Thanks, Clay. I am not a detail-oriented person. I am not a patient person. And it's amazing that I love doing this so much, but I think that part of the reason why is because it's forced me to become more patient, if that makes any sense at all. The exercise of soldering has sort of made me, it's all right, it's made me slow down when I otherwise wouldn't have in the past, which is good. Healthy, personal growth, and all that kind of stuff. All right. All right, I got my 4 corners down. So now I'm not going to be an idiot and just like yank these away. I am going to come back through. Here, I can turn the light off now. No, I can't. Sorry for blinding y'all again on that. I'm going to come back through, and I'm just going to hit them all. And then obviously when I come back and do the insides, come on solder. When I come back through and do the insides, I will need to remove the argon naturally. And I want to make sure, after my last mistake, make sure that these things are nice and secure. It's pretty good. Sorry, I bridged a couple. Come on. Done that many times. Got it. Okay. That side's good. Let's do the longer side now. That's just... Okay. It just occurred to me that I think I have the wrong tip for this, but whatever. I'm not going to change that now. For this work specifically, I have a, well, I mean, it's still fine. Here we go. It's a matter of getting to the right spot on the side of the pad here to where this goes quickly, and I'm not getting solder just on the tip of the iron and not actually on the pads. It's kind of what I was doing a little bit there. This is better now. So anyway, as I was saying, I mean, this is like meditation work for me. It's weird how relaxing I find this. But I've heard other people say the same thing. Grover, I think you said the same thing when I did the Saturday stream a couple of weeks ago. This it's fun in a crazy way. All right. So now, moment of truth. Please, please don't come off. Careful. Hey, all right. And because I chose the 2 rows, we find that Brandon has to redo the whole thing on the inside now. So that's what y'all came for, right? All right. The good news, though, however, is that once I get this done, and this is the bulk of the soldering on this project, oh yeah, I enjoy it, but only when it's assembling 1 or 2 of the same board. I understand that. So the Brew, because I know you mentioned you did a ton of the giant boards by hand, which I'm sure got pretty old. And when I was doing, I did a run of the party badges for Barry and Maker Faire last year, and I think I only did like 12 or 13. And they were an early iteration than what I showed just a few minutes ago. I and a few other co-workers, including Mohit, who said hello here at the beginning of the stream. Mohit, our senior hardware engineer, who has had a hand in, if not designed every single board Particles ever created, helped me assemble some of those, and that was a lot of work. Any more than that, and it feels like a chore. I agree. Totally agree. So we made we made 275 party badges for the Spectra conference last year. And I did not hand solder all of those. We had help. Lots and lots of help, which was great. Because I would still be doing that. I love Osh Park's purple PCBs. I mean, this is the first fab that I ever used. But they're not the only service that I've used. I gotta admit, I'm a big fan of black solder mask, especially matte black solder mask. Oh, that looks so good. So this is a shiny purple, but matte blacks and matte reds, oh, can look really, really nice. All right. Clarkio, hey man. Thanks for coming into the stream. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. I am assuming I will in a little bit. I'm doing some hardware assembly right now, but in a little bit, I fully intend that I am going to. Sorry, I'm going to do a. Yeah, I'm going to use your extension with some code, some firmware code. So y'all please follow Clarkio. He actually created a really cool, he does a lot of cool stuff, but he did he created a Visual Studio Code extension. If y'all have been on here before and you've seen me reference the extension for highlighting line numbers and pointing out bugs in my code, which there's a lot of, he's the man that wrote that, which is very cool. All right, so we got some, the hard work is done. The hard work is done. So now it's time. I got a few more pieces left. I'm going to solder in the buzzer. Here, I'm going to turn the light back off because I can see now. Solder in the buzzer. I'm going to do an 8-pin. What is that? Oh, that's 10. Crud. I'm going to break these off. Ah, Clarkio, that's awesome, man. Thank you. Gifted a subscription to Fucheros. That's awesome. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you, sir. So this is a, what did I say? This is a 6-pin. Is that right? So if y'all watched me go through this mess a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to cut this one down to 6. And what did I learn from that wonderful guide? Just pull out the header you don't want, and then snip right here. Snip, snip. Right in the center there. Try not to make anything fly. Yeah, very cool. So, yes, as we say, Pucheros, now you can use the Cyan Trash Panda. So please use that with abandon. I appreciate it. All right. So that's in there. Doesn't look super, but you know. Thank you, Grillguard, throwing that out there. All right. All right, so what I usually do with these through-hole components is I'll solder down the first one and then come back through and kind of try to straighten it up a little bit to where it at least looks straight to the eye there. So I'm done. So Grogard, I got a random question for you since you do a lot of this kind of stuff. Do you use leaded or lead-free solder? And if you use the former, do you use a fume extractor? All right. So these are good. This is in. I'm going to clip these pins and try not to get anything in my eye. So I'm going to look over here while I do this. Soldering list, soldering skills, nunchuck skills. That's right, Clarkio. I don't have nunchuck skills. I think I would probably break my everything if I tried to pick up a pair of nunchucks. .commy, lead, yes. Girl, gotta use lead solder. Shh. And yeah, I have a fume extractor. Hey, we're all friends here on this stream, so come close. I'm gonna tell y'all something just between us. I use lead solder too. I tried using the lead-free stuff. I hated it. It sucked. Probably because I suck, but just between us. So yeah, here too. Cooper Clay, I use leaded solder in my radon-filled basement. Not kidding. Man, that is a boss move right there. Yeah. You wear an asbestos blanket too while you're doing it, right? I mean, just to get the hat trick of hazards. That's what I would do. All right, so I have a 8-pin here, and I realized I needed a 10-pin. However, ground, yeah, that's going to be part of the fun. Hey, Janisco, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Clarkio, good question. So what's the deal? Yeah, lead is, I mean, so the big thing you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but when I'm actually heating up this solder, it's spewing fumes into the air as it melts. And most of the time when you're soldering, you're kind of, you're hunched over. So I don't know, you can't see my face when I go to hunch over, but basically I'm getting my face right up here in this. Let me try not to burn my face off. I'm getting my face kind of close to this board. And if you don't have a fume extractor that sucks the chemical, sucks the smoke towards it, you'll just breathe that stuff in. And part of the reason why I use it, and I know a lot of others do as well, is because it's harder. It just doesn't feel as, lead-free solder doesn't melt as cleanly, as easily. Yeah. Skin contact or fumes is bad. Eating it is definitely not an option, .com. Yeah, please don't. Please don't. Yeah, and then and then there's that whole thing about flux and rosin core and all that kind of stuff, definitely. So I need to get a 10-pin header real quick. So I'm gonna go into BRB mode for just like 1 minute while I go to my garage and scramble around for something. But I'll be right back, and y'all talk amongst yourselves, please. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, nothing was burning, nothing was on fire. I'm not sure what I expected with this AFK image, but I'm not disappointed. Thank you, Clay. I just updated that today. I felt like I wanted something a little bit more electric. electrifying. More so. All right, so I don't know why, but I don't have any 10 pinners like right on me right now. So I'm gonna hack something together out of a 2 and an 8. And we're gonna pretend like this is normal together. We're all gonna pretend like this is normal. Just like I do every day. Come on. Ah! So I said that soldering, yeah, has forced me to learn to be patient. No, it hasn't. Not really. That's fine. I fixed it. Just pulled the header out early. Okay. If it works, that's right. I mean, ultimately, GrowGuard, I'm just gonna put the TFT in here when I'm done. But I mean, ultimately, this is gonna be connected by a ribbon cable. So I'm not as concerned about spacing being exactly right. Yeah. This song sounds, this is not chiptune enough, and it's like way too, it's fine, it's like chiptune Mannheim Steamroller. Skipping. There we go. Not Mannheim Steamroller. Thinking of something else. Y'all know what I'm thinking about. Oh, Janisku, did you get a t-shirt on Twitch Dev today, or are you still pining for one? Because I'd love to have one of those. They're nice. All right, I'm gonna cut this one too. Wait. I need 2 pins. Yep. Just need 2 more. Yeah. So, pulling that out. Cut this one kind of close. Yeah! Monument to my failure right there. Cut it too close. As one does. As one does. That's all right though. I can go from the other side. Oh, nice. That's awesome. It's cool that you got a shirt and it's on its way. Love that. All right. There's a whole lot of hacking right now. Trying not to mess stuff up. There we go. Doop. Pretty doop. All right, we're gonna count it. It's gonna seem normal by the time we're done. Maybe. This is the kind of situations I find myself in. All right. that one in and then fix it up, straighten it out, try to line it up with the others. Blue. All right. So, Pacheros, you say you just you did your first stream yesterday? Because that's cool. Every time I do this, I think I should wear glasses, protective eyewear, and I forget, like an idiot. All right, something is not right. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to bend the pins. Whatever. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to use jumper wires. Save myself the headache when I get to that point. Oh, crud, sorry. Yeah, YouTuber for 1 year, started Twitch yesterday. Oh, that's great. Hey, you know what? I will. I'll make a note for myself to join. So, what did you stream about? I'm curious. And Dakami, I thought those were coding glasses. That's right. That's so the bad code doesn't get in my eyes. It's probably more appropriate. Azure, cool. I set up an Azure pipeline the other day. Teaser for the second half of the stream, because I can't focus on any one thing at a time. I'm all about the squirrels. I actually have an Azure pipeline that builds the firmware for this project that both Mr. C# Fritz. So let's do Sushinator. Thanks for following. Thanks for joining. Welcome, welcome. C Heart. Oh, yeah. Can't type. I'm sure most of you know C# Fritz. Follow him if not. Both he and Clarkio inspired me to create a Rambling Geek. Thanks for the follow. Awesome, welcome. I appreciate it. Both of these fine individuals inspired me to create an Azure pipeline to actually handle building the firmware for this project, which is pretty sweet. So, all right. So you got the C# Clippy. You got the swag. You know. Perfect. Grogard, I need to set up some automated stuff for building the giant board. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I would be more than happy to help you with that. Because, especially I'll help if you send me some boards. I'm just kidding. I'll back your crowdfunding campaign, regardless. I hope you had a better experience than I did with it. Clarkio, did you not have a... Oh, yeah, you know what? I think I actually saw you were asking... I had to bail, but I saw you were asking some questions on Suze's... on NoOpCat's stream the other day. I struggled to learn it, but I have something working now at least. Hey, so I think .commie was here a couple of weeks ago, but I fought it tooth and nail big time the other day. I actually had... I'll show you the... Now I'm like really off the train here, but that's okay. We're all friends. I'm a DevOps noob too, Clarkio, for sure. And I ended up just going with the YAML, doing the YAML stuff, but I had a few issues One was figuring out how to use secrets. But once I got that working, that was kind of cool because I'm installing the particle CLI for building. Oh wait, sorry. Let me go back. One was using secrets, getting all that set up. And then the other was installing the particle CLI, logging into the particle CLI, building the firmware, and then this is the spot that jacked me up. Copying the files from the source directory, that bin file, so that I could create a GitHub release that basically put the bin in the artifact staging directory up here, and then copied it to the actual release. That's the piece. Clarkio, I'm not alone with DevOps and for getting off track with the stream. Oh yeah. Give me a chance and I will get off track. Crackberg, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. I did go the YAML route. I don't know why. I was tempted to go, when I was struggling with this GitHub release stuff, and there was a typo in the docs on this particular item. I really thought about going the UI route, but I was invested and I couldn't talk myself out of it. All right, back to this thing, which is close to done, but not quite yet done. Good afternoon, Fragment. Appreciate you coming in. Hope you're doing well on this Thursday. All right, stop. I keep this other webcam on a separate desk from my main desk so that when I'm tapping and typing that it doesn't shake constantly, and yet here I am every time I go over there, I'm shaking it. I don't know if it's my internet or Twitch, but streams keep dropping, pausing on me. Is it not just mine? Because I am still I'm getting a few very brief moments of drop frames. They seem to be relatively minor, but I had some issues on Tuesday as well. I hope that does not persist. All right, so I got my 2 headers in here. Few drops. Stream has been fine for me. I have more bandwidth than most people, Clay says. Well, aren't you special, Clay? I'm kidding. All right, so now the fun part is I'm going to solder in my wires for the knock sensor. If you will recall, and these are solid core wires, so they are not moving. So I have one side of the knock sensor here. I'm going to put this one in first. All right. So I got that side in. Now let's do the other side, which actually came disconnected from the piezo, so I'm going to have to redo that. This other side did, but we'll do that in a second. Sorry, let me keep it on the camera. Noticed it, Clarkio says, I noticed it on other Twitch channels too. So that's funny. So I try to keep my FPS, I'm only going 30 frames at 720p, so I'm not trying to push 1080p down at 60. But even still, between Tuesday and today, I've noticed a few more drops. Like some frames dropped here and there. Oh, Clarkio, oh, he's not Clarkio. Excuse me, Clay, you caught me. Okay, Clay. So Clay asked a wonderful question. Why didn't you get screw terminals for the sensor? And I did. I did get screw terminals for the sensor, Clay. And I don't know if you can see that, but derp, I got my spacings incorrect on those. So rather than not do this today and just sort of like keep going or try to bodge it in, which would be like an absolute mess because these are pretty short, I'll just solder in the wires. But thanks for keeping me honest, Clay. I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure it's Twitch. I get the drops too occasionally. Yeah, that's a bummer. So we're going to do this side now. And we're nearly there. And if you're here to see whether or not I create blue smoke, we're almost to that point of finding out. I got my wires in. These are super long. All right, so I got to come back in and fix. Cool, Clarkio. Thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, definitely. I'll tweet at you and let you know whether you should watch it or not. Figure out whether it works. But have a good rest of the day. Yeah, call it VO.1. That's right. That's right, Clay. All right, so I need to come in and actually bring this ground terminal back on the knock sensor. And this is a tiny, thin little wire. So I'm gonna, this ought to be fun. Trying to create some. Let me get these two together again and see what I can do. All right, I wasn't anticipating having to do this here, but that's okay. It's part of the process, right? Let me, nope, sorry. I'm moving the camera back up because I need to get the assistance of a third hand tool to help me. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to solder that right. Rather than trying to cut a thin wire, I'm going to do something stupid and just solder this right at the end of the wire. Oh, cool, Gregor. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, you've done some brewing in the past and you, hopefully it would be cool when you start brewing new batches. Hopefully, definitely feel free. I'll share all the resources I have for it. All right, I'm going to tack that to there. Because why not? Gives me a stronger wire ultimately. This is some hacked together stuff right here, right now. It should work. Okay. So it is almost moment of truth time. We're going to do a couple of things. I need my thermocouple plugged in. So I'm plugging the thermocouple. I have this sensor in. I'm going to plug in my argon. And then the final piece here is actually going to be to wire up the display. But I'm not going to try to sit that on top here, because what I'm going to do instead is use some jumper wires. So I move this back down here. And I have some of these wonderful things here I'm going to use. These are jumper wires that are just sort of female on one end, male on the other end, as they say. So I'm going to use a handful of these so we can plug right into the board. I need one, let's see what, 1, 2, 3, 4 more. 5 more. All right, scrounge up 5 more of these from my bins. One more. And now I have wires everywhere. I'm going to have to clean that up later, which is wonderful. Okay. So 1. So close. 7. These are very close in color, which is not cool, but so I got a thing to make like crimped ribbon cables out of these, and I'll do that. Just not going to do it here right now today. The fun one going in at the end. Cram it. Because these are not meant to be so close together. Oh my gosh. Feels harder than surface mount soldering right now. Okay, so there we go. So my ground, let me look at another board here. So I'm just going to plug these in order. What a mess. What a rat's nest of wires. See, I wanted a ribbon cable because to keep this PCB small, I had kind of everything relatively close together. I could have rotated the display, maybe. This is more fun, in a manner of speaking. So the ribbon cable will help me, you know, keep it connected without having to be constrained by where the microcontroller is and all that good stuff. You'll also notice that I am blocking now the USB port, but not to worry, because that's why we have a LiPo connector on these now. So now in terms of getting this to actually like stand up to where you can see it, I'm going to get this to sit. Sit, sit, sit comfortably. Okay, we have a PCB assembled. If I didn't mess anything up severely, I can turn it on. So now, are y'all ready for this? Without further ado, put on your safety eye gear, your eye safety gear. I should have already done. And here we go. Cross your fingers. Woo! Yes! You can dance now. Y'all will be pretty excited about that. I'm excited about that. PCB worked. First try. 2. Well, the screen does at least. Thank you, Babbitt. Thank you, Ficheros. Yes, yes. Very excited. .com. Oh, yes, with the purple fire. Love it. Let's actually test out the temperature sensor really quick. So I'm going to come back over here. That mic out of the way. Thank you, Clay. Rogard, appreciate it. Let's actually test the test a few things here now. So the few modes that I had, is that upside down now? Hold on. Let me fix this camera. Transform. Flip. Flip. All right, so now you can see what I see. So what I want, excuse me for yelling, as I see the off the charts. So what I want to do now is I'm going to test starting a brew, right? And the command for that is brew. So I'll call that, the screen should refresh and I should start seeing a counter and I start reading temperature. So I have my K-type thermocouple here. If I hold the end of it, the temperature value should start going up. And I'll start seeing those stream across the console as well. So now my temperature's up to 73. Cool. Temperature sensor is working. Yes. Love it when stuff works. Such a good feeling. So now let's stop. I'm in a good mood now. So let's go into fermentation mode. Kapow! That's exactly right, Kami. So I reviewed this on Tuesday, but I got sleep modes working. See you soon, Pacheros. Thank you so much for hanging out, for coming in, and for being part of the team now. And look forward to your next stream tomorrow. I'll see if I can jump in and hang out. All right, so we're in fermentation mode. The device has gone to sleep, waiting for fermentation, and I knock it. So I knock the knock sensor. That worked great. So fermentation has started. My device is coming back online. And thank you so much, Sushinator. I really appreciate that, the compliment and for the follow. So now I can get a fermentation rate to display on the screen. So getting knocks every 5 seconds. You'll see that happening. So everything's working. It's so great. I mean, it's not a real thing, but this needs an eagle, maybe an honorary table flip. Even though it's a reverse table flip. This is a reverse table flip moment, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because that's not how I feel right now. I was worried that I might feel that way. But I feel the opposite. I want to like take that table and pick it up off the floor and tell that guy that it's all going to be okay. I just want to let him know it's going to be fine. With a little hard work and a can-do attitude. It's going to be fine. That's pretty sweet. So that was about an hour and 15 minutes worth of the stream. So that's not too bad considering that I had to restart once. Thankfully, I didn't have to restart very far into the process. So that's pretty sweet. So we have a working board. We have something that has been assembled. So I think now it's actually time to turn attention over to firmware a little bit to actually keep working on that piece of it. And maybe even start doing a little bit of testing just to sort of verify that things will work. Before I get to that, however, for those of y'all that are still hanging out, I did want to share that I will be streaming again tomorrow, but I'm actually not going to be streaming from my account. I'm going to be streaming from the oh, not particle.io, it's particle IoT. Wait, it was particle.io, we changed it. I'm going to be streaming from the, no, not Particy. Apparently that may have been an account for a second. I will be streaming tomorrow from the Particle IoT account. A brand new, hold on, get out of here. We are starting a brand new series, so we'll do a shout out here for Particle IoT as well. So please follow that account. We're actually doing a brand new series of every couple of weeks. I'm going to do an interview with somebody from the Particle team. So tomorrow's is actually with Mohit, our senior hardware engineer. And it's going to be more of an interview style kind of format, but that's going to be happening tomorrow. If you're interested, that'll be from 12 to 1 Central Time. So if you're free, there's the event. Please come and join us. I want to use Twitch as that format so that we can have questions and conversation and all that good stuff. So definitely come and check that out if you have time and a willingness to do so. So that was a quick plug for that, but I'm pretty excited about doing the first one of those tomorrow. So I shared earlier that I have a pipeline set up for my builds here, and then I still have a number of issues. So now that we have a working board, I want to spend the rest of the stream today just working on firmware. That'll be .com. He says that'll be rad. Follow Mohit on Twitter, Instagram if you want to be amazed. Oh, for sure, absolutely. In fact, if you all I'll throw that link in right there because this is one of the things that we're going to talk about tomorrow. And Babbitt, no worries. I'm actually going to post it on I'm going to post the replay on our YouTube channel. So you'll have an opportunity to catch up and watch it later. And of course, it'll be streamed on that account as well. But Mohit, he of Instagram fame with almost 52,000 followers, has an awesome Instagram feed. So please follow him. And I'm going to do a total other. I'm doing this tomorrow. One of the things that we're going to talk about tomorrow is his amazing. These are all his like fun side projects. This is not his day job stuff. His day job stuff is building, like designing these things. This little thing right here. But this is, so he did this thing the other day that was awesome. A video on straightening a brass wire into a rod. Let's just watch this for a second and just be amazed. Yeah, okay, the drill. Measure and cut around 30 centimeters of wire. Make a small loop. I mean, y'all can read. It's a pretty decent soundtrack to this too, actually. Fade it into the drill chuck. It's so stinking cool. So the guy is a wealth of amazing tips and tricks like this. And I just cannot wait to talk to him tomorrow. So anyway, that was like a really long advertisement for that kind of stuff. Check out his feed, his Instagram feed. He's built his own little like Nixie clock, and he has a CNC mill, a Bantam Tool CNC mill, which is very cool. He's done a lot of freeform circuits. That's actually one of the coolest things that he does, is a lot of these like air wire circuits or freeform circuits. Grogar is really classy stuff. It is. Y'all don't need me to tell you. You can see this, but I could spend the rest of the stream today just scrolling through his feed. Maybe we should do that, because that might be more fun for everybody than watching me write firmware. But let's do firmware anyway. So where I am right now in terms of calling this quote unquote done, a few of the things that I did the other day was that I separated, excuse me, some of the fermentation detection stuff. The freeform stuff is amazing. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Grogard. It's totally amazing. Time for the firmware safetyglasses.com. You are absolutely right. That should be a thing I do. Even if ironically, to put on some Stanley clear safety glasses. Not when I'm doing the soldering stuff that can actually hurt me, but this stuff right here. For sure. So what I worked on the other day, and let's take a look at this, because if you didn't get a chance to watch the replay, this is worth talking about very briefly. But I made a few commits the other day. One was a simple one, just to add some fermentation variables to handle a few things that I wanted to do. That was mostly what I focused on Tuesday, was getting the fermentation stuff to a point where I could actually show this fermentation rate on the screen. You'll notice. Did you check the menu system that I linked in the other stream, Grogard? No, I didn't yet. And I was going to, and then I realized that I wanted to add a menu to this, but when I did the board design, that I didn't add any way to actually control, to actually select, to navigate from the menu and select. So I'm sort of in the short term kind of. I do want to get back into that though, and do another rev of these boards where I actually add a control of some kind and turn it on. I realized after I ordered the boards that I also forgot to put an on-off switch on here. That was my own fault, and I have some thoughts around that's not a hard thing to do. This TF doesn't have a touch display. This particular TFT does not have a touch display, but I do have a 3.5-inch Adafruit TFT that I've thought about using instead here that does. So I could work, that could work actually pretty well. That could be pretty cool. So what I did here was I added some variables to handle fermentation mode. And then I changed the names of these. Is brewing, is for just changing these to mode names, because the mode is different than when fermentation actually begins, but that's another thing I'll share in a moment. Yeah, I mean, I could make it really small if I did a touch display on top, and then, yeah, that could actually be kind of cool. All right, so then the second thing that I did on Tuesday was I added some fermentation logic. So let me actually go down to here. I'm using a Q array to handle the temperature readings, and so I wanted to do the same thing for my fermentation logic as well. This is basically just an array of knocks, and what I mean specifically by that is it's an array of the difference between the milliseconds when a knock happens and the milliseconds of the last knock, right? So it's the time elapsed between knocks, because that's your fermentation rate. And then from there, I changed up the screen a little bit to show when fermentation actually started. And then instead of publishing all of these to the device cloud, all of these, what I'm doing is I'm calculating if fermentation has not started yet. I write all this to the screen and I publish a message to the cloud. And I also set the last knock value based on the current start time, right? And then the device comes out of sleep mode, so I wait until it's reconnected to the cloud and I send a message. And then if the fermentation variable has been set from false to true, then, and I catch a knock, right? This is in here every single time that the sensor is fiddled with. Why is that a 0 now? I think I have a bug in that logic, but that's okay. Then every time through, I'm actually pushing a new value of the current millis minus the last knock. So that's the difference between the two. And then getting my fermentation rate. So, and then displaying it on the screen. So getting my fermentation rate is basically just going through the array count, dequeuing an item, adding it to a sum, enqueuing it back on, and then getting my sum divided by the array count. That's my rate. That's what's showing up on the screen incorrectly, apparently right now. So it was worked on my machine on Tuesday. But that's okay. And then I just added some logic here to display the heading and all that kind of stuff. So that was the other piece of what I did on Tuesday to get the fermentation rate stuff showing. And then just did that in a separate branch, merged it in, what have you. So where I am now is actually dealing with the cloud, the readings that are getting posted to the cloud. Because one of the things that you may notice in the console is these brew stage temperatures. And this is an old data format I'm going to change up. These old brew stage values that are going in every 5 seconds, it's too often. I want to update the display every 5 seconds, but I don't want to post every 5 seconds. So what I'm going to do instead is post about every 5 minutes. Let's actually do every 2 minutes, right? We can do every 2 minutes. So 120,000 milliseconds. Right, and then I'll keep track of when the previous post took place. Yeah, that's the ticket. So we'll do that. And here, let me come in here and actually say stop. So I can go back to normal and waiting. So there's a few things that I want to do here today is I actually want to separate, fix the monitoring post, the weird little JSON object that I just shared, and then do a few other things there. And then post the fermentation data, which I'm not posting right now, and then separate those intervals, which I started doing right here, right? So if you see sort of my current commit, what I started working on the other day, I added this post interval, previous post millis. And that's it. That's actually all I have done in this current commit is just add this post interval here instead. So what I'm going to do with this in hand is check where I'm actually doing the readings. And I think, yeah, here's what I'll do. So this is going to happen in my loop where I actually want to post these values. So I'll do this here at the end. And I'm going to, oh yeah, that's right. So I'm going to add this here at the bottom of my loop. So check post interval and send values. So this is going to work similarly to here, right? Which is to say, if current millis minus previous post millis is greater than post interval, right, then I will post. .commie, thanks so much for the subscription, for the tier 1 subscription. I love it so much, man. I really appreciate that. Let's actually get some Cyan Panda swag in the chat. No, that's not right. That's not what I was looking for. I hit the wrong button. Or is it? That one? Yes. I hit the right button. Thanks so much, .commie. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you hanging out. Current values to the device cloud. Yes. I don't know why I made comments for myself, because I know that I will forget so quickly after just saying something. I will invariably just forget. And I have a little bit of a functions doing more than one thing kind of problem right here, because it's not obvious to me where I'm actually posting the values. So I got to find out where that's actually happening. So if I do, this is what there's a little bit of VS Code. If I go to like peak definition, okay, it's not there. Maybe it's in print reading. No, it's not in there either. So where am I calling this post? I mean, I have post temp right here. So I know what I need to call, which is post temp. And then let's add another one and we'll call it post. Call it post fermentation rate 90. Post fermentation rate. So I need to know where else post temp is being called, but we'll worry about that in just a second. I'm going to find all references. That's not. What? Really? Man, I got one right there. Whatever. There it is. In retemp. So that should not be happening. That should not be happening. Yep. And this should be in a variable that I can use. So that's the issue. I've got it in sort of a local, let's just call it last temp. Right, so I'll do last temp. An argument that could be made that I should be posting like maybe the next, last, and average over a certain period of time, but I'll think about that later. Post temp. Where'd I go? So we'll do last temp. This temperature. Great. So now we have that, and this is post temp. I'll change the payload here in a moment. We'll do that in a separate check-in. Let's say post fermentation. What did I call it? Post fermentation rate. Yeah, so in this case, I'm rounding the temperature down to 2. I have the current fermentation rate. Let's just call this we'll just pass this along as a call it current rate. And my value here is going to be, go back up to the top. Oh, it shouldn't be a long, that should be a float. No, that's probably going to break something, but we'll find out. Apologies for jumping all over the place, and I can get rid of all this stuff here. There's state management stuff that I do not need in there anymore. And that should work. There's my payload. So just for the sake of sanity, let's do a local compile and see what happens. See what blows up on me. So I don't know if y'all have heard other streamers say this, but Twitch actually added extra emotes for affiliate folks. So I need to actually add like a second one. Instead of just the cyan trash panda. If y'all have ideas, soldering iron, safety glasses, trash panda with safety glasses, maybe. I'm open to suggestions. All right, did this work? I'll go all the way down to the bottom. It's still going. Still going, still going. Oh yeah, and I made mention of Clarkio's extension earlier. Let me turn it on. So you'll see the Cyan Panda bot enters the chat, ready to highlight some code. which is pretty sweet. So if y'all, during this, as I'm writing firmware, if you notice anything that I need to take a look at or fix, you can just type in -line and then the line number. Oh, there's so many lines in this firmware, right? And that'll actually go and highlight the line, and it'll give me a little list of highlighted lines as well. But that's pretty sweet. So you can actually unline with the pound or with the exclamation point, not sign as well. So highlight it that way, but y'all feel free to use that if you notice anything. Yeah, there you go, .commie. There's my embedded equivalent of a console log. Littered all throughout my code as this thing continues. I'm excited it's working. That is a pretty cool extension, and Clarkio, yeah, it's really neat, Babin. It's really cool that Clarkio did that. He continues to work on it on his streams. I think he streams Wednesdays and Thursdays at least, or no, Wednesdays and Fridays at least. So I'm going to plan on joining for his stream a bit tomorrow morning before jumping over and hosting the conversation with Mohit, which I'm pretty excited about. Again, worth mentioning. Yeah, it's a very cool extension. Every time I build this Brew project for the first time, it always takes so long after it's been a while. But, I mean, what I know at this point, this is a good sign. I would have gotten an error if I had one by now. So I am going to go ahead and trigger a cloud build. So I'm going to go into the extension and click the Cloud Flash option, which will pop up a little notice that I'm seeing now. It's kind of like underneath the chat notice, so you may not be able to see it. Come on, come on. This little, well, it's actually underneath chat, but you can see. This is telling me it's preparing to flash. I should get some notices in the console. Admittedly, might take a moment. Oh, there we go. All right, so flash status started. I get my devices blinking something, blinking magenta. There we go. So for the last couple of weeks, I've actually just been doing mostly local flashes. But how long will that battery last on that Argon? Great question, .commie. This is a 2000 milliamp LiPo battery. So my intention, and this is the test that I'm going to do, is on a single 2000 2500 milliamp LiPo, I would like to be able to run through a brew, which is about 2 to 3 hours of active brewing, where the display is updating a lot. And then when fermentation starts, put the device to sleep for the first 24 to 48 hours. And then when it detects fermentation, it's going to run pretty actively for the first day or two, and then go to sleep again. I can probably, yeah, totally. The sleep function makes a lot of sense now. Exactly. Yeah, .commie. I probably need to mention that more, but when you're done with the brewing process, it's a day or two before fermentation starts, and I want the device to be ready to detect when fermentation starts. But so to stay connected, right? But to not use battery power. So that'll basically just do nothing for 2 days other than just run at just microamps probably to detect the voltage on the NOx sensor. And then when it gets to that point, it'll wake back up and start reading and connecting to the device cloud. But then another feature that I want to add is as the fermentation rate slows down, Because when fermentation first starts, it goes and then it kind of picks up speed a bit, and then you'll have active fermentation for a day or two, and then it'll slow back down. And when it slows back down, I want to put the device back in sleep mode. And so fingers crossed, I would love to be able to run on a single battery for a week. Maybe that's crazy. Or at least only swap out, and I got to think about that. If I swap battery, I lose power. But really only have to swap out once or twice. Maybe just no more than once during the process. We'll find out. Okay, so I'm back online, and I have fermentation mode. So now what I should be doing is I should only be posting the temperature. So if I go into temperature mode, go into brew mode. I'm getting a reading. Okay, and now I'm getting my values. So the temperature and the fermentation rate are coming across. And I shouldn't see them come across again for another 2 minutes. And I have a typo in my JSON here for that. All right. But I can go ahead and check this in. Why is it? That's too fast. That came across in 30 seconds? Oh, you know what? I did that wrong. My math is wrong. 30 seconds. 120,000 milliseconds. Bigger battery. Yeah, I have some bigger ones. But it's pushing it to go. Now, the other option is that I could use use like a LiPo pack, like one of those laptop recharger or iPhone recharger sort of LiPo packs. That could be kind of cool. Let's get the old calculator out here. 120,000 divided by, now that's supposed to be 2 minutes, so maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe is fermentation mode. Oh. You actually have to like set. Yep. So previous post millis is gotta set the variable. My math is right. I just didn't do it right. I'll update again. And since I didn't get to do a real live stream on Tuesday, I'm thinking at this point I'm probably just gonna go for another 30 minutes or 45 minutes, at least over the hour. Why not, right? I'll keep on working. We'll keep on hanging out. If you gotta go. If you're just hanging out and lurking, feel free. There is no shame in that. I'm trying to think, Dakami, how big those some of those laptop style batteries actually are. Or the kind of batteries. So these LiPo connectors, the JST connectors, are also the same connector configuration that they use for like drones. And drones can get larger batteries. You can get some big old ones with those things. No, you didn't fail. It flashed just fine. I mean, it's... All right. So yes, here in this case, this was the key piece, line 204. I needed to make sure that I actually set this, or it was just always, every time it would come through, it would do its thing. I love this extension. All right, so it's online. So let's go back actually into the brew stage. And now when it gets into the brew stage, it should actually be a couple of minutes before we see anything come across here, which is great. So while that is happening, and we'll watch on the left-hand side for our updates to happen. I am going to go ahead and start working on... Well, here, let me check this in real quick because I know which one it is. It's going to be number 18. Come back over here. We'll just check in number 18. Chiptune music is so much cooler. I'm gonna keep going with it. Oh yeah. But not always. I'm not taking this. All right. Closes number 18, I do believe. Can barely hear the music today, really. Oh, I'm too low. Let me take it up a notch. Is that better, .commie? I may have accidentally messed with something. Game of Thrones chiptune. Oh, man. Absolutely, I need that. Cool, we got our first reading. So we got our current rate is 0, and this that we need to fix here after we check this in. Yeah, that's better. Okay, cool. Let me know if it's too loud that my voice is being drowned out. I'm going to be aware of that. So this is number 18. All right. Yeah. I don't know if you got a notice of that or not, .commie, but I just said you as a moderator. I'm assuming that's what the cyan handle was for, but appreciate you being here hanging out. Yeah. All right. So push and go. That works. So the next one up is to, I'm going to say that's staged. Oh yeah, 24 also. Crud. Nah, that's all right. Actually, let me amend my commit. Number 24. Oh, is that not going to work because I pushed already? Don't tell anyone that I'm doing this. Much like using lead-based solder. We get push force. Okay, so now the last one before I do a merge here, and I'll show off the little job thingy again. Is to actually fix this post temp payload because it's not necessary. You know what I'm going to do also? I'm going to add a time to both of these, and let's just pass in. Let's just do that. Will that work? Is that going to freak out? Here, we'll just do that. I'm trying to decide if I need to escape those or not. Let's just pretend that we need to. And I'll add this here as well to fermentation rate. So I have a time value that goes with it. Expect I will need that. And I'm going to change the name of this as well. And the other thing that I could do is actually only post these based on the stage that it's in, because there's not really much point in posting fermentation rate readings when you're not in the right mode and vice versa. So let me go and I will make that change as well. Brewing temp. Let's call it good. And then what I'm going to do here is say if is brewing mode, else if is fermentation mode. And then post accordingly. Yay, okay. Let's do a quick local compile, make sure it works. See, here I'm looking at another screen and I get myself distracted. Sorry. Okay. So that works. So let's do a cloud build, or cloud flash, excuse me. Get it back on there. Okay, what's going on? Go back over here. Okay. Let's try flashing again. Cloud flash. Well, it looks like I may have just gotten myself completely booted. I don't know what's going on here. So let's try to build again. See if we can get back online. It's telling me it failed. No internet. Really? My internet has gone down completely. Yeah, well, that's a good spot to end the stream. So I apologize if you're watching this later. Things failed on me 1 minute to 4. I have no idea why. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there. And thanks for y'all hanging out. Had a good stream today and a good time, and we'll just cut it right there. Thanks so much. Bye.